Despite making indie music, Kevin Parker of Tame Impala has worked with some of the biggest artists across all different genres, and that of course includes Travis Scott. But why does Travis and so many other artists love his production? To find out, let's first listen to Skeletons from Astroworld. As you can hear, the beat is based around this euphoric guitar chord progression, so I put down something similar to start our beat. Kevin records his guitars through pedals to achieve the sound that he wants. I replicated that using a preamp and compressor to make it louder, a phaser, amp, chorus and reverb to bring out some texture, and finally I pitched it up and added a halftime, bringing the mix down slightly. Whilst Kevin Parker produced the majority of the track, it wouldn't be a Travis Scott song without that Mike Dean touch. He added one of his classic synth bass lines, something like this. After that, Kevin added some synth elements, which you can hear across all of his music. If you want over 650 sounds just like this, hit the link in the description, my biggest and best bundle ever. As the track progresses, especially towards the climax, there are even more guitar layers, so I recorded in this counter melody. Before moving on to the drums, I wanted to take something from Same Old Mistakes. Kevin recorded his vocals as some kind of ambient drone in the background. It really adds to the ethereal feeling of his music. To make something like this for our beat, I wanted to use a special technique. First, you need a one-note vocal. So I recorded this in. Then throw it into Fruity Granulizer. You can use any granular plugin that you want. Make sure loop is turned on. That way it will carry on playing as long as you hold the note. After that, just mess around with the other knobs until you get the sound that you want and add a reverb. You should get something like this. Now, let's look at the drums. Obviously, Kevin Parker uses a real drum kit to make his songs, but I'm going to show you how you can achieve that sound by programming. First, turn the swing knob up. It instantly gives you a more humanized groove. Then I added a hi-hat. I made sure to shift it back and manually shift a few notes off grid, just so no two notes sound the same. After that, I added in a simple kick. And finally, we have two snares layered together. I find that making the snare hit slightly earlier contrasts the late hitting hi-hats and creates a natural groove. There are also some snare fills that you can hear throughout Skeletons. Not only has Tame Impala worked with the likes of Travis Scott and The Weeknd, they've also been sampled in a bunch of rap songs. Most recently, Bandit by Don Toliver. They sampled One More Hour. I wanted to make something in this vein, but I actually started being inspired by Tame Impala's most recognizable song. The tone of that bass has always stood out to me, so I came up with a bass line and processed it with a reverb, heavy compressor, amp, and OTT. After that, it needed some chords, so I grabbed this synth pad one shot from Layers Volume 3 and layered it with another sound from my Super 6. Now to get that heavy, rock-inspired sound, of course, we needed some electric guitar. So I recorded in this melody. There are only two elements left, one being the drums. The drums on One More Hour hit in sync with the instruments, really emphasizing them. I used a kick and crash that sound like this. Alongside that are some snare fills. I found some loops and processed them with a cassette, giving it that vintage feel. And finally, probably the most catchy part of the sample is the vocals. A lot of Tame Impala's vocals are ambient and blended into the mix using reverbs. First, I recorded in a melody, processed it with Audemy, then added some delay, reverb, compression, and EQ. Then all that's left is to flip the sample. Bandit was produced by Reed MD, who used this triplet style hi-hat bounce and a clap. Then added some snare rolls, before finally adding in 2 different 808s. Artists love working with Tame Impala because Kevin Parker is so versatile. His songs are perfect for sampling, and he also has the skills to come in and work directly with an artist, just like he did with Travis Scott. Hopefully this video helps you think outside the box the next time you cook up.